You know what time it is, don't you? That's right, it's Drinky Fun Time, where we drink booze with some of the most interesting people at the coolest places around. So grab a drink, chill out, and enjoy the show.
Heyo, I'm Dan Dunn.
And I'm Emma Patterson.
Hi, Emma. How are you?
I'm really good.
We are inside the exclusive lounge at the Feral Audio headquarters, which is located in the blazing inferno that is Burbank, California.
Struth, it's hot.
It is hot. And this, our first episode of the liquor-fueled podcast. We will be joined shortly by the mayor of Harmontown himself, Dan Harmon.
Ooh.
Exciting. We're also going to have a chat with pop superstar Halsey.
She's a sauce pot, that one.
Yeah, she really is. Our main libational topic today is going to be a classic cocktail that was invented right here in the greater Los Angeles area. It's called the Moscow Mule. We're having one right now.
Is
Cheers.
this what we've got?
This is what we got in our copper mugs. We're going to play a drinking game, catch up on some booze news, and hopefully in the end we will come closer to knowing the interdependent nature of all things, Emma. Or at least catch a buzz. And that's coming up right now. All right, this is Drinky Fun Time, episode number 1.
Question.
Okay.
Am I looking at a deer with 2 heads? Sorry, I just realised. There's something over. What is that?
Well, how many Moscow Mules
It's amazing.
did you
but
have already?
I'm like, that thing's, it's winking at me. No, it's got 2 heads. Yeah, it's a really cool bar. And Feral Audio built this for people like ourselves to enjoy. And here we are.
Yeah. Now, part of the reason Feral Audio exists is the guy who's going to be joining us right now had a little something to do with this whole thing, this whole enterprise starting. He is the creator of the iconic series Community. He also co-created one of my favorite shows, Rick and Morty. And to my brother John, who I know is listening, is doing backflips right now. This is how excited he is. Rick and Morty, the 3rd season of which just premiered on July 30th on Adult Swim. He is also the man behind the wildly popular Harmontown podcast that lives right here on Feral Audio. He is the mayor of Harmontown, Dan Harmon.
Woo!
Yay.
Yeah. Dan, how are you, man?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us, my friend. I see you have a Moscow Mule in hand.
Yes, thank you for making it.
Raise a toast here.
Cheers. Cheers, Dan and Dan.
Episode 1, and thanks for gracing us today.
It's fun to toast with Moscow Mules because they traditionally come in these copper tins, and you can really smash.
You can yes, they can be used as a weapon if shit goes bad, which invariably they do.
What he's saying is you can just be thorough with your cheersing and not fear that the glass is going to break.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Why is that this is the only drink that you ever get these tins, these copper tins?
Well, okay. Let me tell you a little bit about the Moscow Mule. First of all, so you know what's in this drink. It's vodka, lime juice, and ginger beer. It's a very simple drink, built over ice, as we mentioned, served in these copper mugs. Now, how it happened, this is the result of a supply and demand quandary, essentially. During World War II, vodka was about as popular in the United States as the Japanese and the Germans, right? Nobody is drinking vodka.
Why?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't they like it?
Well, I think that it was more, whiskey was very popular. Gin was very popular here, but not vodka. It was not popular.
It tasted like cleaning fluid to them, didn't it?
It might have been that.
And we
Maybe.
weren't huge fans of Russia even before World War II, right?
Exactly, yeah. So
We kind of put our fear of them on hold for a little bit. But
when we needed them.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then we got right back to being more scared of them than ever.
So no one's drinking vodka, and there's a guy named John Martin. He's with this distributor on the East Coast, and he's trying to sell vodka, particularly Smirnoff, which is what we have in front of us. That was the vodka that was the original vodka for the. I'm nothing if not thorough, Emma.
Oh, I'm not
I
stopping
went out
you.
and got this Smirnoff
go.
because that was the thing. So he comes out and he visits the legendary Cock and Bull on Sunset Boulevard, which I believe they shut down and now reopened somewhere else. But Cock and Bull is this famous old bar on Sunset Boulevard, and he's there, and he's bitching to the guy who owns the bar named Jack Morgan, I can't get rid of this shit. I can't get rid of this vodka. And Jack Morgan's like, you know what? I made this ginger beer, and I can't get rid of this either. Okay, and then one other element was the guy who owned Cock and Bull also had purchased a bunch of copper mugs from a gypsy on the street in Sunset Boulevard.
You know what this sounds like?
Bullshit.
A load
No.
of cock and bull.
Yeah, it's kind of.
And then a lime truck crashed outside.
And there was a blizzard that day and surplus ice.
Yeah, they were making the Wizard of Oz, and the tornado got out of hand. It all got mixed
No,
together.
I actually do believe all of this because it's not because it does all seem so random.
It does, yeah. By the way, this is one of the more plausible origin stories you're going to hear. A lot of these drink stories are really, really like, what? That's bullshit. So this is the story that it goes this way. They throw it all together, had a couple more drinks, and a libational sensation was born.
Okay, well, you can't be wrong because it tastes too good. I don't think you could have made that.
Is this your
nonsense up.
first, Emma? This is the first time you're having a Moscow Mule?
No, don't be silly.
Well, to what extent do you? Because I wonder about the copper tin. Whatever you call this thing. Is that what you call it? Is it a copper mug?
Copper mug.
It's so. I mean, when I see one on the menu, a Moscow Mule, I immediately imagine the copper mug.
Yeah.
And then if it were to come in a glass, I'd be disappointed. I wonder if, so according to that story, it's really all psychological. There's nothing about it bringing out the taste of the ginger or anything like that.
Well, but that said, isn't drinking such an experiential thing?
Yeah.
You just nailed it. If they gave this to you in a glass, no matter what it really tastes like, it probably wouldn't be as good as the Moscow Mule that you expect.
Yeah, why do I constantly, if I'm with my friend Jeff, and he orders a shot of Fernet Branca, I always have to order one. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever put in my mouth.
Bartender's
But
breakfast.
nothing tastes better than camaraderie, and sometimes the worse the shot, the more ceremonial it feels. So there's a lot of psychology that goes into it. I guess.
It's like if you're going to do it and be brave, I better be brave too. Like other drinks that I like to bring up.
Such as?
The pickle drink.
The pickleback?
Yeah. There's nothing nice about that, is there?
Well, again, I think that's one of those things where, it's puffing out your chest a little bit and going, yeah, I can fucking do this.
It's nice for a hangover too. Like a lot of those hangover things, it's probably psychological too. That you're gonna do something even worse to yourself, and then it's like your hangover kind of goes away. Or is it the briny?
Yeah, the pickle juice makes it. It's like it never happened.
All right.
Well, I find too that when you're hungover, you're willing to ingest things that you might not otherwise, because it's like, look, I already feel so bad. How could it be any worse?
Yeah,
by doing
there's
this?
no atheists in a foxhole, and there's no gourmets in a hangover.
Pretty much.
So Dan, let's talk about. So this is a vodka-based cocktail. Let's talk about your own personal relationship with vodka.
That starts with my friend Dino Stamatopoulos. Before that, I was a Glenlivet guy. I could walk through from, like most guys coming out of high school, it was all about rum and cokes, because I think that you are scared you're going to get carded, and you just stick to what you understand and what you can order quickly.
Yes.
And then it became Captain Morgan's and Coke, because I found out there was a rum that tasted more like candy, and I was still a little boy.
Yeah.
And then I think at some point I became a Scotch guy, because I thought that's what adults drank. I wasn't wrong, but I found my way to Glenlivet because I liked the idea that you could taste the difference between 12-year and 18-year.
So how old are you when you're drinking Glenlivet?
I'm in my 20s.
Really?
Yeah, and somewhere in my mid-20s, and I start making friends with, I can't remember how old I was when I made friends with Dino Stamatopoulos, who, when I met him, he was drinking Kettle One on the rocks. Or somewhere in there, I was familiar with Kettle One because I was ordering. I asked my friend Jeff, who was like a manlier man than me, give me a cocktail to order. I'm tired of sounding like a high schooler when I go out drinking.
Yeah.
And he said, do a Kettle One with a twist. So for a while I was doing that.
Wait, that's the manly drink?
Yeah, well, I shouldn't have said manly. I should have said more like, there's a different word, like, I don't know, grown up, or
Okay.
not
more sophisticated.
not macho. But
Gotcha,
more like, okay, you're not just you don't sound like a frat kid at like on the weekend if you're at some bar and you're hoping to impress someone with an earshot. So the Kettle One with a twist was my thing for a while, a little twist of lemon. And so, but then I was like, Scotch. And it was because this is the dumbest reason in the world, but as with brands of cigarettes, what is a good reason to, like, why did you switch from Camels to whatever? And the answer is always because I was here and then I did this. I was on the Atkins diet, and I was convinced that because you could see through it more, that vodka had less carbs in it.
Well, by the way, you're not alone in that. I mean, like, I would say at least half the people in LA, their go-to drink is a vodka soda,
Right.
because they
think it's maybe healthier. And I will say, what I really have come to like about vodka is the culture of it. I like that it's to me, for all those nerds out there, it's sort of like, to me, vodka is like when you're listening to people argue between PC and Mac, and then there's that guy that like dominates because he's like, I don't know, I use Linux. Like I'm the hacker. Vodka is, to me, it's like the Linux of. Way to clear that up, Dan. Way to sell vodka. But it's like that third party hot rodding kind of thing where it's like, this is about function over form. That's what I like about vodka, is the idea that the purer it is, the less it tastes like anything. The more, isn't vodka Russian for water or something like that?
Voda was the original. Yeah, the word where it came from, Russian for water, and that was a big thing, and now they're sort of pulling back from that. But there was a period there where that was a big marketing tool. Was this vodka is distilled 9 times?
Right.
Like it's fucking air. And that's what people were going for. But now I think there's been a bit of a pushback in the other direction, where you're starting to see more of these traditional vodkas like Smirnoff, like Russian Standard, that have a little shit going on in them, the little character to it, but I agree with you in that, to me, vodka, there could be sort of this impression that it was, soft. But really, when I think of vodka, I think of, guys named Vlad, guys.
To me, that's like saying pharmaceutical grade cocaine is softer than the stuff you get from your friend. I think it's like, if you're a fan of something, you want the straight stuff, and it's if for those functional drunks who want to who think they might be at any point surrounded by people who might politicize their drinking to their detriment, it's odorless. You can. If you have it in a flask, you can like do a little tug. It's true medicine, and I tell my doctor, I know this is an adult drinking show, so it should be a little more sophisticated maybe than where I'm going with this, but I drink a lot. I drink very heavily, and so I tell my doctor, because I'm middle aged, and I'm like, I know how I'm going. Like you got to keep an eye on my liver. And I keep every 6 months, like I'm all over it, because I'm like waiting for my liver to start showing any sign of because I treat it with it's tough love, and and I keep getting these clean reports, the blood work, and I was puzzling over that, and my friend Spencer said, it could have something to do with the fact that you always, for decades now, you've been drinking top shelf vodka, and that's all you drink. That it might be the impurities and things that really hit your liver harder. I don't know if that's
I'm seeing a new ad campaign.
I was about to say, that's a really
really
interesting concept, actually.
I have a similar sort of situation with my doctor, where I get my annual physical and they do the blood work, they do everything. My doctor's actually told me, and again, I've been doing this professionally, and I would say that I'm on the same level as you in terms of when I'm not working, it's not like I'm sitting at home going, fuck, I'm not going to drink. Same thing. My doctor told me 2 years ago that I have the liver of someone who's never had a drink in their life.
Yeah.
And so you know what I did then? I fucking went out and got hammered as soon as
of
he told me.
Yeah.
I was like, what else? No AIDS either? Well, screw the condoms. Yeah. Just kidding. Emma, I'm kidding. I don't.
I'm not here. Nothing to do with this.
No. So Dan, what else do you drink besides vodka, though? Do you drink wine, dinner?
I've got real bad heartburn as of like my mid 30s. So, and I used to be able to knock back bottles of wine and use that as an alternative. Like, let's be more sophisticated today. And I can't really have a single glass of red wine anymore.
That's sad, isn't it? How do you
Yeah.
enjoy steak? How do you enjoy spaghetti bolognese?
I just do. I just inhale it like a big fat pig.
You just eat it quicker so you can get it.
Just get through it.
I think I can have like one glass of white wine and maybe a glass and a half at a wedding or something before the white wine will start to trigger this like heartburn problem I have, and then a couple of beers.
Are you like pounding what do you call it, Zantac and getting all that
I
stuff?
take a Prilosec every day.
Every day.
And I've been
I'm sorry, I'm English. What's that word you said?
It's in Britain. It's Wankalax. No, I don't. It's antacid. It's
like a Rennie.
Probably. I bet.
Rennie's.
Like a Rennie.
Yeah, Rennie's your friend.
Do you ever get? Let me ask you this: do you ever get issues with swallowing food where it gets stuck?
Oh, not
Yes.
this story.
I
This
have
is
to be very
gross.
careful when I eat popcorn.
Yep. You know what you have? Because I have it too. It's esophageal dysphagia, and the alcohol does not help. Let me tell you that. It's just I have. You guys know this. I have the same issue. I get really wicked heartburn, and I'll have trouble swallowing sometimes. So my doctor said it's esophageal dysphagia, and there's different things you can do to treat it. But one of the things he did recommend was cutting back on the drinking. And so I did what I needed to do and got a new doctor.
Right, exactly.
But that's probably, I have the same.
It's funny
issue.
how I came to that conclusion myself. It's exactly what I imagined was going on. It was like, look, you've been very lucky. You drink constantly. Most people are born with shit wrong with them. You
had to work at it.
Like, you probably have to imagine that if in your toilet, that flap that makes your toilet tank fill up, and you have to change it once in a while because it just basically corrodes in the water.
Yeah.
Of course, your esophagus, like, it's this flap that goes up
That's
and down.
that's exactly what it is. And you're getting the alcohol's causing scarring. And but what's beautiful about this is I know all about this. I researched this. I know what I need to do to make it go away. And I'm like, no.
So you're saying if you just stop drinking entirely,
The drinking exacerbates it. Now, there's other things but it is that. It does exactly has to do with what you're talking about. That flap is letting in some of the acid from your stomach, and that's what's fucking
popcorn
it.
flakes. Like, I noticed at a certain point, it was like, I need to consciously, if I'm eating popcorn or something like that, where it's like light, like shit that could, like, you could inhale it easy. Like, I had to learn the hard way. Like, okay, I need to speak and then eat and then, like, stop.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm ruining your drinking podcast by turning it into a medical problems brought on by drinking podcast.
By the way, you're listening to Drinky Fun Time, a celebration of adult beverages, unless your name's Dan, in which case you're fucked up. Yeah, I have.
Next, what to do about those unsightly capillaries when they burst? We'll have Uncle Jin in for some handy pointers about foundations you can use.
By the way, I notice your nose is quite red. What's going on over there?
Oh, yeah.
Years of
what does
gin
that
abuse,
mean?
isn't it?
Strawberry nose.
Can we all agree that gin, though, is really just kind of a
Don't abuse gin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can only drink gin. I love Negronis. That's my favorite.
Love
cocktail.
a good Negroni. That's
But-
Campari and sweet vermouth and gin. If you're interested in
And I
making
don't.
them.
But anything where I can taste the gin, But I have the personal reason that was the first. They say the first booze that you puke on.
Oh yeah.
I when I was in high school, and it was like, what can we grab? What's in Dad's cabinet?
Steal it from pour it into a
I think we had,
racquetball
like, a
can or something.
handle of
Yeah.
the shittiest gin in the world, and we went to this park in my neighborhood, sat on a slide, and I just remember drinking like probably 80 gallons of what tasted like pine needles, and just it all coming. I can still taste it to this day in my nose passage. Every time
We've
I
all done
smell
that.
gin, I think about that.
Southern Comfort was mine.
Oh boy.
Oh, Cointreau was mine.
Wait a minute.
Cointreau,
You were drinking
so
straight
fancy.
Cointreau?
It was all that was in someone's parents' cabinet.
Isn't it great? And by the
She's
way,
like Harry Potter.
you have no idea when you're a kid. You're like, hey, how about this orange liqueur? Let's
Oh man, we would mix. Me and my buddy Dave. We thought we were chemists. I mean, all kids do. It's like all you know is that you're supposed to mix stuff. Oh, adults mix stuff, and you're almost playing house, right? It's like an easy bake oven.
Yeah.
We were like, oh yeah, we We invented this drink that was Mountain Dew and tequila. Just disgusting. I mean, like,
Lord.
That's a one of my the first time I ever got sick in my life. I remember this from drinking. I mean, I was stealing booze out of my parents' liquor cabinet. Same situation, went into the woods, but we couldn't figure out what to put it in, and so I dug a can. God, I feel like a bum already
You're
at 13.
going back.
So
I can
I
see.
dug a can out of the garbage. And it was a can of baked beans. It was so we washed it out, but we washed it out, and then like we kids though, wash it out, and then we went down and we poured everything what you had to do is you had to do it really tiny increments because I was afraid my stepdad would notice, right? He's the kind of guy that would notice.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, let's take a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, a little bit.
God.
Basically everything in the bar that we poured into an old baked beans can. And then we put saran wrap on the top with a rubber band. So I remember going to the woods.
So
and
that
we
you
started,
didn't spill.
Oh, yeah, so it wouldn't spill. We go to the woods and we start drinking this. And immediately, like, the scent of beans
God.
mixed with
I mean, it's just so gross. I'm picturing like
Seagrams and-
chunks of bean floating in this. What's already, even if it was a clean glass, you just described something gross because he took you made a Long Island iced tea, but worse.
Yeah, with no citrus, and it was all alcohol. There wasn't, the concept of a mixer had not yet occurred to me. No ice, because ice was going to take up room in the can
Right.
that would otherwise be used for. And the other
you
thing
need
was,
those delicious beans. You
and
can't-
they need that beans in
don't
there.
put no ice in there.
The other thing too, when we were young, too, I remember like everybody would have these tips for drinking, and it was always like, oh man, if you drink it through a beer through a straw, it gets you more drunk. Did you ever hear this when you were young?
No.
Oh yeah, it gets you more drunk. As if I need to get more drunk
Right.
when I'm 16 years old. I think one beer, and I'm talking to the tree.
Do any of you remember the first time you suddenly thought, I'm drunk and this is what it feels like?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I was high on beans. I think it was the bean day. Yeah.
But you don't know whether you're drunk yet. You're like, I don't feel right, but maybe this isn't drunk. Let's keep going.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
There's no-
Restraint
you don't
had
know.
nothing
You
to do
don't
with it.
know.
Yeah, no, it had.
I love that on our first episode we've covered all the wrong ways to drink.
Oh yeah, this is. I mean, it's certainly not one of those podcasts where it's like.
We're not going to get any sponsors for this.
No. Actually, I think Passages. I just got they're on the line right now.
Or
and,
what's that one? Yeah, it's the hotline you can call. That's like a therapy. There's.
Yes. What is that number? We should probably
Wait,
read it.
let's
out.
play the commercial now. Are you drinking booze out of a can of beans?
Then you're onto something.
Yes.
Because we are drinking out of a can too.
How's the mule, Dan? You doing all
good.
right over there? You
Yeah.
He's
You
ready
need-
to turn onto something slightly
you need
stronger.
a topper offer. All right, since we are on the subject of
Vodka.
drinks, let's do this. Bo, what happened there?
Should we insert commercial? What were we thinking?
No, I was gonna surprise Dan, and now it's. Oh, here we go. Ready?
Is this a Chevy Chase voicemail?
Yeah, no.
It's time to play the drinking game.
That's what we waited for. Can you play the other one? There's got to be another one.
Never. The ratio of fanfare to mundanity was sublime. I thought it's time to play. Brrrn. Literally a thing that people play. Normal people play drinking games. You don't. It's not a segment in a game
it is
show.
here.
It's
It is
time
here.
for a game we came up with. Brrrm. Drinking game.
By the way, not only do we think it was important to do that, we also did this one.
What do you think this is? Some kind of game?
That's awful. That sounds
That
like
is
something's
not
melting.
awful. Sorry.
That's our podcast melting away.
All right, Dan.
Comedy
We're
comes
playing-
in threes. There has to be a third one, right? Like,
That's-
don't hate the drinker. Hate the drinking game.
Hold on. It's time to play. Drinking game.
That
All right,
works.
Dan,
Yeah.
we're going to play for something here. I have brought some stuff. We've got a...
Well,
We
I'm gonna get a
topper.
kettle.
Oh, yeah,
one.
you
I'm
gotta
gonna
do
get a
it.
kettle one on the rocks before
Okay.
we play a drinking game because I'm done with my Moscow Mule.
Okay, so drinking game. as we've covered, is a new segment on this new show in which we challenge our guest to show off their knowledge. Dan, this particular drinking game, it's very simple. I'm going to name some ingredients in vodka-based cocktails, and you tell me what the name of that drink is. If you get at least 3 out of the 5 right, you win 2 Moscow Mule mugs of your own.
Whoa.
And this bottle of vodka. There you go. There it is.
What kind of vodka
Smirnoff.
is that?
Smirnoff's the original Moscow Mule ingredient, and it's sitting right in front of him, so he can. It's within his grasp. Dan, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
You've a lot to lose. Ooh.
This cocktail is made with vodka, half and half, and Kahlua. What is it?
Oh, is that a Black Russian?
Is that your final answer, Dan?
Wait, it's
Vodka?
Kahlua, half and half. Oh, White Russian.
Oh, so
Congratulate. Yes, as one.
to any Brits listening, we would have said milk, and that would have thrown me off.
Yeah, but you guys call diapers napkins.
I'll let you have
Show
that.
keeps going at this pace. We will be wiping our face with napkins at the end. Okay, Dan, you've got one right. You're on your way. This drink, one of my favorites as a youngster, vodka, peach schnapps, OJ, and cranberry juice over ice. What is the drink, Dan?
A fake news. I don't know. I tried to make up a new cocktail name.
I think there's sand involved.
It's cranberry, peach schnapps, vodka, and
OJ. And you could put a little Chambord on there if you wanted to. Emma did throw a hint your way.
A French hand job. No, what was the hint?
I feel sand between my toes.
It's not
Between my cheeks.
It's not Sex on the Beach? Oh.
Yes.
I got one.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give that one to Emma.
I wasn't even playing.
Yeah.
I'm never allowed to play. I don't know anything.
I
You
should
got
have
it.
guessed that.
You got it. Okay, so are we counting that as one of Dan's?
No, don't count
So
that.
1 for 2. Here we go. This is easy, Dan. Or maybe I shouldn't set it up that
Don't
way, but
say
it is
that.
easy. Vodka and grapefruit juice.
Oh, that's Greyhound.
Okay.
Mild clapping on that.
You know
At
what?
least it's easy.
I applaud Dan, not you, the other one, because I would have said that's a vodka and grapefruit juice. Why would anyone have given that a cocktail name? That's just a mixer and booze.
Yeah.
Greyhound. What if you put salt around the rim? What's it called then? Emma.
A salty greyhound.
Dog.
Oh.
God, we're learning a lot. So Dan's got, if you get one more right, you win the prize, Dan. This one's vodka, OJ, and Galliano.
Galliano.
It's a sweet Italian herbal liqueur. Comes in that, yeah. Vodka, OJ, and Galliano over ice is what cocktail?
An Italian screwdriver.
They should have one of these.
The drink is a Harvey Wall banger. So now we come down to the final one. There is a lot of tension here. The stakes are very high. Dan Harmon, for this bottle of Smirnoff vodka and these 2 copper mugs, tell me, if you were to pour vodka, triple sec, and lime juice into a shot glass and shoot it, what would you have shot?
Kamikaze?
Is that your final answer, Dan?
I guess.
Is that right? You got it right?
Yes.
Oh, bloody well done.
Here you go. Congratulations. You get the first. You're the first winner
All right.
in Drinky Fun Time history.
It's a bit touch and go. Imagine if he'd not won. Then he probably would have gone home.
Well, we would have given it to him anyway.
And also notice how unsure I was. It's like, I really didn't know.
No, you're well versed, I can tell.
It was very contextual.
I feel like I'm just giving you heartburn, though, now that I've given you this thing.
the Smirnoff is just, I don't know. I mean, isn't that just early death? I don't think
It's low carb,
Wait,
though.
another ad campaign. By the way, you know we're going to be hearing from them when this thing. They're like, please, for
Ad
Christ's
campaign.
sakes, don't ever have us on the show again.
Smirnoff. Let's face it, the last year of your life wasn't going to be the best one.
Dan, can you tell us a little bit about the new season of Rick and Morty?
Susan Sarandon's in it.
What?
Christian Slater.
Seriously?
Joel McHale, Gillian Jacobs. These are all cameos. They're not like joining the show.
Did you ever anticipate it to get
No.
these cameos?
No, it was pretty amazing. Usually, like the super, like the people that, I'm like geeking out about. You always dread that moment when at the end of the record session they say, my kid loves your show, because that means that. Oh,
it means they're terrible parents because their kids listening to.
No, I mean Susan Sarandon's kid's probably 40. I wanted Susan Sarandon to like my show, And then you hear, my kid loves your show. It's like, oh man, I bet she never even watched it. Like I would have been like, oh man.
No, she strikes me as someone who wants to be buddies with her kids. So if their kid's watching it, she's watching it too.
All right.
Isn't her kid an actress?
No idea. I don't know.
Producer Bo's nodding. Californication. Kid was in Californication.
So, hang on. How did you get John Oliver to come on the show? Because that was early days.
Yeah. He was on Community.
That's right.
Yeah. And I just, I can't. I mean, I was a big fan of just him on Daily Show, and I can't remember how it is we thought we had access to him, but we cast him on Community and in the pilot, and I mean, he's a great actor. I would say it's a shame that he doesn't want to do that more, but it's such a boon to society that he wants to do what he is doing, because he's like the new Jon Stewart, and like, I mean, he's like a light shining in the dark for at least people on my end of the spectrum politically. I mean, he's great doing what he's doing, and that's what he wants to do. But the truth is, he's a truly like great comedic actor. He should be doing like leads in like indie rom-coms and stuff. Like I remember doing episodes for writing scripts for him for Community, and just like he just knocks it out of the park. And he's a really funny improviser. Like he'll like riff the end of his line differently every time, and like give you like 9 options, kind of like Donald Glover, like that kind of talent. But and so I knew him from Community, and so it was easy enough to ask him to do a voice on Rick and Morty.
So when he came to decide what his character was going to look like, and for anyone at home who doesn't know what he looks like, he basically looks like an intellectual blob with glasses.
Right. The character he plays in the cartoon, yeah.
Who decided that's it, that's the look?
I don't, Justin is the other co-creator of Rick and Morty, and he's definitely more like on the production side, so I definitely have very little to do with how things look. Justin interfaces with that side of production, and and there's character designers, and they'll come up with all these options and stuff. So we'll say to them like, or you might write a line in the script like, he looks like an amoeba but smart or something, and then people will draw what they think that means.
So have you had any cameos who've come in and said, I know exactly what I need to look like. Like, I have a butt as a face, or, they've got...
The funniest thing was Werner Herzog coming in, because he was, like, it was so weird. Like, everything's lateral with him. So he came in and he was like, may I see the character I am playing? And then we just say, well, we haven't designed him yet, but here's some characters from the show. We show him all these aliens and stuff, and he's like, I see. So they are animals, but they speak like people. Yes, Mr. Herzog. Yes,
got it.
God, it's yes. It was really funny. Like it's like trying to direct Werner Herzog doing a monologue about penises, and then him being the one to at the end of it, where I'm like, I don't want to. I'll just tell him he got it right, because I feel like I'm intimidated by this guy. I was just like, okay, we got it. And he's like, no, one more. I now know I must emphasize the word penis.
Could you ever imagine it was going to do as well as it did? Did it feel like just sort of you just having a fun time, seeing what you could get away with?
I mean, you learn early on, I think even before you ever get a break, that you're a fool to attach your feelings to outcome. So, because you can't control whether people ever see your stuff. So I think even kids in art school or majoring in creative writing in college, or like I think even by then you're going like, okay, if I'm going to be legit, it's going to be because I do what I do for me. So you learn that lesson long before. Then you have, let's say an NBC sitcom, and then you're like, holy shit, this is great. You've got it. Like Rick and Morty was always for me, like, because I sensed that Community was like out of my, it could be taken away from me. It could be taken away from me simply because someone didn't like me. And I loved Community so much that I was like, I need to not be this vulnerable. So it was more about, instead of thinking about it like, oh man, I expect other people to watch it or like it, it's more like, how do you feel about it? So Rick and Morty was, from the beginning, it was like this love child. It was like a bastard, illegitimate, like kid I made in the woods out of pure lust while I was still, in this ivory tower, like being, in my opinion, abused by this, royal like arrangement and stuff. And so, and then long after that is when people start to go, oh, I like this show. So then you go, oh, cool, because I do too. Now, just recently, it was like, it feels like South Park levels, which is crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think Dan and I, we're not alone, we definitely binge watched it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We just got into it a bit more knowing we were going to meet you today. And
well, and it's I think what's great about a show like Rick and Morty, too, is when you're in that realm of, and I hate to just reduce it to that, but sort of that Comic-Con sort of fanboy world where, as I mentioned, my brother does not think of you as a guy who just created this show. You have been elevated to godlike status because people connect, I think, with a show like Rick and Morty in a way that they could never connect. Though Community, brilliant show, an amazing show, but there are limits to what you can do and the places you can go, and sort of that the way you can tap into people on a network show on NBC is a lot different than what you can do with Rick and Morty, which I think speaks to certainly to the hardcore fans in a way that, is transcendent for them. My brother was so excited to know that we were going to be talking to you, and was, the word genius gets thrown out probably far too often, but certainly that's a show that you couldn't do that anywhere else, and the fact that you get to do it.
Yeah, and it's cheating because you have 200 people helping you, and as with The Simpsons, under Sam Simon, who hired all these great Harvard Lampoon writers and stuff, and what they learned at the peak of The Simpsons was, oh my God, animation doesn't have to be this thing that's different from craftsman's comedy. It can actually be the best way to deliver your jokes, your characters, your stories, because you have 100% control over the timing, which is everything in comedy. And so I think that, it's like animation and sci-fi as a genre, because your brother, he might be thinking like, well, I can only watch a sitcom no matter how much that sitcom says, hey, I'm a sitcom and I'm really funny, and this person that feels like you do about taking the subway to work. But it's another thing entirely with sci-fi, you're able to say, this is a person who kind of personifies your fears about existence and grapples with them, like monster for monster and planet for planet, universe for universe, like the shit that you really worry about, which even if you're not a sci-fi geek, do include what if life means nothing? And you can deal with that on a sitcom, but it's really just a bunch of girls sitting around at a break after work saying, what if life means nothing? And in a sci-fi thing, you can have somebody fight the nothingness of life and like go toe to toe with it or represent it and make jokes about it. And I think that, and so it kind of doesn't surprise me. I mean, I get it, having been a fan of so many things where I'm just like, oh, Bob Odenkirk's a god. David Cross is a god. Vince Gilligan's a god. Gene Roddenberry's a god. Like these are people that have to be gods because they came up with this stuff that if it didn't exist, I wouldn't have a map of the universe. And it's like, I totally get it, but I also know it's not true because, I'm not a god. I'm like a guy that was friends with this guy Justin and just happens to have, as somebody else might obsess about their car or something, I obsess about making a TV show, making people like me through my TV show. So,
and a show in which humanity can be saved by a song. Where you got it? What was it? What do you got?
Right.
What do you got?
Or doomed by it though. Yeah, it's
or
like
doomed. By the way, was that really Ice-T in that episode?
No,
was
that was me doing Ice-T.
You played Ice-T. I
wait,
saw that.
that was you doing Ice-T?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only reason we didn't go to actual Ice-T, who I hope, I know he saw the episode and he enjoyed it. The only reason we didn't go to him is because if he said no, and then we did an impression of him, then he could sue us.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
that's how it works? You can do anybody. You can do anybody as long as
Basically, yeah. Like it works that way with music too. If I were to say, I want this to sound like "This Is the End" by The Doors, I want it to have that vibe. I can go to a musician before I try to license the Doors song. I can go to a musician and say, give me that kind of sitar, "This Is the End" kind of sound, and they can come up with a sound alike. If I go to the music rights people and say, can I please rent "This Is the End" by The Doors for my thing, and they say that'll be $70,000, and I say I can't afford that, then the person, whoever's running the Doors estate or whatever it is, whoever kind of has those rights, they can, if they see a sitar kind of like Vietnamese kind of like sequence,
we said no,
and
yeah.
there's a paper trail of that person asking for permission, then you can sue the hell out of them. And so I think that's like with celebrities too, because you're basically saying, hey, Jack Nicholson, will you come do this cameo? And it's like, no. And then because I get that, because it's the difference between parody. You're admitting it's not parody. You're saying like, oh, we wanted the real thing.
him, but we couldn't afford him.
So
100%.
but it's
Can
like,
you do Jack Nicholson?
I pulled it between your knees.
I'll safe to say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, because I asked his permission before I came in here.
Right, he'll never recognize himself.
Dan, I think we need to do one more thing, because now I feel compelled to play this sound effect that we created.
It's going to be like, and now it's time to add ice.
Here we go. Let's try this one.
From the Drinky Fun Time News Desk, here's Emma Patterson with Booze News.
I like that.
All right, wait. Well, let's get Dan's opinion on the next one. We got another one.
From the Drinky Fun Time News Desk, here's Emma Patterson with Booze News.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's basically the same, but with that, the telegraph
Do you feel
thing.
like more alert with the first one? Did you
I think the second one's more committing, and yeah, I think it's
I don't
good.
want you to nod off with it during this.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of news, isn't there? But I do also want to remind people why vodka and alcoholic beverages are a good thing, and this is why. This week, vets in Australia saved a poisoned cat's life by giving him a bottle of vodka to drink.
Aw.
No lie. The black tomcat, who's since been renamed Tipsy, was given the spirit after he was poisoned with antifreeze and found in an almost terminal state.
When you said Australian cat poisoned, I immediately thought he got bit by a giant spider.
I'm so sorry. Let me start again.
No, he drank antifreeze. That's so tragic.
Vets from the Australian RSPCA battled to save Tipsy's life, and the methods worked, and he survived. But sadly, antifreeze is a common method people use to kill cats because they are attracted to the sweet-tasting liquid.
Yeah,
But who's killing cats?
Terrible,
what is
terrible
this?
neighbors.
Tipsy didn't have any family. He wasn't owned by anyone. He was just biding his own
Wait,
business.
this was the happy story?
Yeah.
Where's
so
the sad one?
Because fortunately, the fun-loving vets in Australia at the RSPCA are fans of Absolute Vodka, and they had a small stash of it, so they diluted it and gave it to Tipsy through an IV, and he survived.
See, vodka, all the terrible things we said about you earlier, all is forgiven.
Saved
All is
Tipsy's
vodka's a
life.
lifesaver.
Yes.
I've said that.
I mentioned Sam Simon earlier because I mentioned The Simpsons, and like he's passed away. But he was a big animal lover, and he had a neighbor who was trying to keep the deer. That's how rich this neighborhood is, trying to keep the deer from eating his clovers or something, and put out a bowl of antifreeze.
Oh.
What a dick.
And I mean, already your goal is misguided. You're trying to poison deer. Sam's dog drank it, and his kidneys shut down. He needed dialysis, all this stuff. So Sam, who, because he has like he had back end in The Simpsons, has like more money than he could have ever spent.
Yeah.
He bought his neighbor's house and tore it down and turned it to a larger backyard.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Now, there you go.
People that poison animals, like what?
Well, what about mice?
Speaking of precious, delicate little things, how about this little interview I did? Okay, so we're gonna throw. By the way, this is the worst segue in the history of segues. But back when we were gonna do this show on our own, I went out to this event out in the desert that 3 Olives Vodka threw, and I got to talk for very briefly with pop superstar Halsey. And the reason I'm playing it is because Dan's a big fan. And so Dan was humming Halsey when he came in today.
She didn't. Are you telling me she? Because I put out a bowl of antifreeze.
Hang on.
It cannot. By the way, antifreeze does not kill Halseys. No, she's from Jersey. You can't kill girls from Jersey with antifreeze. And so let's try this real quick. Here we go. I'm in Palm Springs with Halsey. Now, do you like the vodka though? Are you a vodka fan as well? By the way, do I sound drunk there?
That would
I'm not.
That would be impossible.
Okay, all right. I'm in Palm Springs with Halsey. Now, do you like the vodka, though? Are you a vodka fan as well?
I am a vodka fan. I pretty much only drink vodka. I'm a huge bitch, and I can't drink dark liquor or brown liquor. Whiskey makes me cringe. I'm definitely a vodka girl. I love, but I'm not a baby about it. I can hold my liquor, but I definitely like clear alcohol. 3 Olives made this awesome drink for me today called Find Me in the Kingdom. And it's named after my sophomore album, Hope Is Found Kingdom. And the drink is cucumber lime vodka, elderflower tonic, club soda, simple syrup, lime, kosher salt, garnished with cucumber and a lavender flower. So it's super girly, super spa, kind of like refreshing, like alcoholic spa water.
Okay.
In the best way possible. And I've had a couple of them. So
you look great, though. Really, you look very composed.
Am I hiding it well?
No, you handle your liquor well. I can see this.
You know, for a complete lunatic, I'm still a professional.
Well, there we go. Halsey and I are going to go drink. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers.
Yeah, of course.
By the way, did you see this darkness descend over Dan as this was going on? He was just going, what the?
I was listening.
I'm kidding. No, she's great.
She sounds like she does hold her liquor well.
She was in better shape than me. Yeah, that's for sure. She's like 100 pounds and 21 years old. Yeah. She's lovely, and she's extremely popular, apparently.
She reminded me of a thing, because she said they put a little lavender actual flower in the drink, and I was in this bar in Los Angeles called, God damn it, if I'm going to...
Come on, Dan.
I wish I could give them credit, because... but
Jumbo's Clown?
The bar...
Name the street. We'll help you out.
I can figure it out. Do you guys think it's important? I mean,
I do.
Like,
do it.
This is it.
They're local.
Dan, this show's nothing if not educational.
Okay, because if you're in the Los Angeles area, the bartender, I ordered a drink, and she had, I'd never seen this before, the ice cubes had flowers frozen in them that were like, so there was kind of, the flowers were sort of like half in, half out, and so you got a little bouquet as you were drinking. It was just vodka on the rocks, which, by the way, everyone puts lime by default, and it's a thing that I'm struggling with every day. If I say vodka on the rocks, I'm going to get a lime unless I say no lime. But sometimes the bartender hears no lime and just is reminded that lime exists and puts a lime in it. And it one drop of lime juice, like, to me and my friend Dino, like, it just ruins a perfectly good high-priced vodka on the rocks. But here this lady put flowers in ice cubes, and it was like I would be the first person to squawk if it had somehow defiled the sanctity of my vodka. I just thought it was a really cool thing. It was like pure vodka hitting my lips, but my nose was smelling this like flower in the ice.
You could smell the flowers?
Yeah, it was like was
it Pleasure Island?
Here we go. It was called Aro Latin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's spelled A-R-O Latin. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Aro Latin. I like that.
They have fucking amazing lamb tacos. They bring out this like sizzling skillet full of greasy shredded lamb. Since we were talking about animal rights before.
By the way, those lamb were Sam Simon's neighbors' lambs. Yeah. So see, something good did come out of this. They ended up on Dan's plate. Dan Harmon, Rick and Morty, Adult Swim, first episode was how many do this season? How many episodes?
Unfortunately, 10.
Just 10?
Yeah, we wanted to do 14, and it's just 10.
Are you renewed for another season already?
I'd call that a guarantee.
A safe bet.
In spite of all.
Why not 14? What happened?
I started chasing my tail. It's like you get scared to screw something up, and then you go, oh, me being scared is going to screw it up. So, okay, don't be scared. Okay, but aren't you being scared of being scared? And it's just a vortex.
I have a question. Don't hate me. But is Christopher Lloyd going to be in it at some stage?
I think that would be a bad idea legally.
Well, no, because, like, Rick can meet his doppelganger.
I think we'd like to leave as little a paper trail as possible about the fact that it's a blatant. I think that I just keep your fingers crossed that Zemeckis stays successful, because if he ever gets bored enough to decide,
if he ever needs the money, it's going to be like, hey, I can go here. There's a lawsuit out there. 10 episodes, and we're going to get another season after that. You, what else do you have going on? You've got Harmontown, which is right here on Feral Audio.
Yep.
And you mentioned earlier, before we started the show, you mentioned us that you might be doing a movie. Can we talk about that, or you don't want to talk about that?
What the
Kurt
what?
Vonnegut.
Oh.
Can we talk about that I just talked about?
No, yeah, that's fine. They announced that today. They we're doing an adaptation of Sirens of Titan, which is a Kurt Vonnegut book. We're going to do it as a series, I guess kind of a mini series you'd call it, where we do the whole story from Sirens of Titan. But we're going to do it in a way that hopefully would allow, if people like it, to do more Vonnegut stuff as we continue to in additional seasons.
Where are you doing it? Where's that going to be?
I'm not even sure. I honestly think it's like Universal Cable Productions, which is the studio. They're the ones that have the rights to the Vonnegut stuff. I think the idea is that we're going to kind of start writing it, and we're not sure who will be airing it yet. It could by default be like Sci-Fi, for instance, or it might. But I don't think it's off the table that it might be somewhere else. But I could be totally speaking out of school saying that, because I have no idea how that part of the business works.
You do.
Well, we've reached the point in the show where I have to go to take a pee, so we should probably wrap things up. Emma, do you have any more questions for Dan?
If you just drink this antifreeze, it'll shut your kidneys down. I mixed it with Smirnoff, so
Yeah. See? I'm sorry.
I have a question for Dan. Can we come on your podcast?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you should.
We'll bring booze.
Feral Audio, we got to keep it together.
Keep it the family. I want to thank Dan Harmon for gracing us with his presence on this, our very first episode of Drinky Fun Time. I had a fun time. I had a really fun time.
And I learned so much more about you. Bean cans? Honestly.
Oh my
Bean
God,
cans.
the bean can.
Try it at home. We're gonna, if you want to, we'll probably have that recipe and more on our Facebook page, which is Drinky Fun Time. Maybe throw a couple pictures up there. In the coming weeks, we should probably throw this out since we are new. We're gonna have some great guests coming up. We've got Walton Goggins is going to be on the show, so Walton is going to be on from.
I love that guy.
Walton's the best. We've got everybody. We're getting all the creators on here. The creator of Everybody Loves Raymond, Phil Rosenthal.
He hates me.
Phil hates you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he saw an early cut of the documentary I made about myself that I didn't approve showing him, and I think he said he slept through it and then said to the director, "You're making a movie about the one of the least liked people in television, and you made it boring." Something like that.
Never mind. Phil's not going to be on the show.
No, bring him on. Have him talk about my documentary. It'd be
We're going to have a new show where Dan and Phil are on it.
Yes, that's it. Kevin Alejandro from True Blood, and he's on Fox's Luther. Aisha Tyler, I know she's going to come on eventually. We got her. But lots of fun coming up.
Kurt Russell, Elson James.
Oh, Kurt Russell. Forgot about that guy.
Are you fucking kidding me? Kurt Russell's going to
Kurt is going to be, hopefully we're going to be doing that one real soon. Kurt has his own wine called Gogi. And
where are you taping that?
I will let you know.
I
think
want to go to
probably at Baby Blues Barbecue. Do you want to? I will let you know when we do it. Could be very, very soon. Yeah, Kurt is a badass, awesome guy. We might even actually fly in. So Kurt has a ranch in outside of Aspen called Home Run Ranch. Because Kurt played minor league baseball and his dad played professional baseball, and we're gonna fly in some beef from Kurt's Ranch, and we're going to make it at Baby Blues Barbecue, and we're going to pair it with Kurt's Wine, and Dan Harmon's going to come and join us on that one,
Are
too.
he and Goldie Hawn still together?
Yeah, they're still together.
Oh my
They're
God, they
fucking
just
perfect.
spelled no.
They have a longer marriage than everybody.
No, that's where they got it right. They didn't get
Never got married.
Oh, they never got married. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
they never
they're
did.
the perfect. They truly love each other.
They really do.
celebrated. Do you know how they did this? They both got their handprints put on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Together.
About last month.
That's
Cute.
right. I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, they don't come more badass than Kurt Russell, you know.
Oh, he's the best. I mean, I assume he's the best. Like, I don't.
Well, you'll have to come and find out.
No. I mean, he's the best. Everything I know and feel about him. If I find out that he like ran over my dog or something, I'm gonna.
We
put on
won't tell you
blinders.
if we're
I'll
eating
just
your
We
dog.
won't tell you. Yeah, no. So, all right. So we got to let Dan know when we do the show with Kurt Russell. You come out. Emma, anything you want to add to this?
So much I want to add. I have so many questions still for Dan, so we've got to have him back.
We're gonna have him back on the show again. But right now we gotta roll out of here, and we're gonna do it with our friends from the Velveteens. Don't you feel better?
I do.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks,
you.
Dan. Yay!
Yay! Can every guest make up lyrics to the song that goes out? I was okay. Well, never. They'll probably do better.